All right, guys, I really didn't want to make this video, but I've been sitting on it all day long and keep reading more and more different pieces of news. And this is all just kind of leading up to some pretty important stuff. So let's just go ahead and... So you're always hearing about how someone or an entity or a company has been being put on sanctions by the United States. You never hear about sanctions coming from another country, and there's a reason for that. What SWIFT is an international money transfer system. Basically, it's owned by the United States. All trading between countries is done with US dollars, which forces the US dollar to be an international currency that everyone has to use. So when they say we've put sanctions on China, or we've put sanctions on Russia, or even put sanctions on an individual, that's what they're doing. They're basically calling up SWIFTs and saying, hey, it's our system, blacklist these people. Don't let them transfer any money anywhere internationally. This has been a way the United States has been able to leverage or to have leverage over these people or countries to get them to do what they want to do. And now countries have finally started to get tired of it, and they've been working towards a solution for some time, which could actually lead us down a very bad road. So, if you look at the dates, this is August 20th, 2020. Russia and China de-dollarizing, approaching breakthrough moment. This was back in August of 2020. And I did a little research. It actually went back a couple years before that way and started talking about it with India, and I think India dropped out of it. But basically, they created their own SWIFTs program, and Iran is even inside of their program. So what does this mean? They're attempting to de-dollarize or not have any money transfer done with US dollars so that the United States cannot apply pressure to them. What this also means is that other countries that want to do business with them have to do business in the currency that they choose and use the system that they have, which means more countries, and I think there's 23 now, are de-dollarizing or basically breaking away from US currency. So this one is for March 24th, China's SWIFT joint venture, a defensive move in U.S. financial war after Alaska talks underlined ongoing tensions. I don't remember the Alaska tensions, but clearly they're doing it. Where we got here? March 23rd, 2021, U.S. and allies announced sanctions against Chinese officials for serious human rights abuses. We're sanctioning individuals. Why? Because they're in the United States and they have the ability to move a lot of money if they want to. So they stop that by turning off their SWIFT's ability. Oh, April 16th, U.S. imposes sanctions on Russia over cyber attacks. We keep hearing about this in the news. What is this all leading up to? 2 days ago, China state media says country must prepare for nuclear war with U.S. after Biden asks for COVID probe. Now, obviously, I don't think they're dumb enough to go blowing anybody up because we want for a COVID probe or a COVID investigation. But what it does mean is that China is preparing to break away from the entire system. Russia's top tech CEO calls strict U.S. sanctions on country war. Yeah, you notice how we've gone from sanctions to war? This happened this morning. Russian to consider ditching dollar, demonetizing oil contracts if faced with more U.S. sanctions. So they're tired of the U.S. playing with them is what's basically happening. And then last but not least, it finally happens. Russia's $186 billion sovereign wealth fund dumps all dollar assets. So Russia has completely de-dollarized. If we scroll down here, I'll provide all the links. They've basically decided that they don't want anything to do with the US dollar, which means one of two things. Or it means one thing guaranteed. They have their own way of transferring money between countries that is not SWIFT's, that does not use the US dollar. Because this is their budget for their grand bank. The euro, the pound, the yen, gold, and won. 20% of what they own in their big bank is gold. That's interesting. And if you follow the Russians, they have fiscal gold, or physical gold, not paper gold. So their total value is $185.9 billion. Disclosed TV, just in, Russia to exit from all dollar assets in its wealth fund to investors to euros, pounds, gold, won instead. Russia Finance Minister Suilanov, you pronounce it. The Red Star Radio pronounced de-dollarization is inevitable as the U.S. attempts to assert itself to prevent its accelerated decline, thus speeding up the attempts by Russia, China, and others to remove themselves from the dollar. They've done it. They're doing it. Next step. They say keep using the word war a lot. We might want to keep an eye on that. As usual, keep prepping and stay safe.